What's up, guys? Mikkel here, and today we're getting into Matterport. Matterport's a company I currently own and one that I will look to add to in the future. Matterport is the leading platform in transforming the real world into a digital version. They use this data to upload to their platform to allow other companies to utilize and get data on places all over the world that may otherwise be inaccessible to these companies. A lot of people over the recent years said data is the new oil, and that's why I'm always looking to invest in companies that are dealing in mass amounts of data and network effects. Luckily for me, I think Matterport falls well into both of these categories, is one of the reasons I want to keep adding Matterport to my portfolio. I think we're going to look at a lot of interesting things later in this video, so make sure you stick around to the end. If you like videos like this and want to see more about Matterport, make sure you subscribe to this channel, like the video, and comment your thoughts down below. For those of you who don't know, I am currently a robotics engineer, and that's why I really like to focus on a lot of these technology companies. They're what I personally truly understand, so that's why most of my channel is focused around tech companies looking to grow. Let's jump into Matterport though, so we can see what this company is doing to transform themselves in the coming years. I'm sure you guys have been paying attention to this video right here. It's probably played a couple times, but it really just shows what Matterport's trying to do with creating these 3D spaces of real life places. Companies can then leverage this data from Matterport so that they can get information on what these places are like and use for various needs. You can see this use massively in different hotel rentals, Airbnbs, insurance firms, and all kinds of other companies that need to have the data of places all over the world. I haven't seen too many other companies that are doing anything like this, so I think Matterport's very unique in that aspect. One, they're collecting tons of data, which is massive, but two, they're also creating a network effect because people can actually join the platform and upload these scans of their own places. I really like companies that get their users also involved back in the company, because that's how network effects are really created. The more people using the platform and uploading their scans, the more information Matterport will have and ultimately create a bigger and better company. You see the same thing in companies like Airbnb, Facebook, and cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. So let's change this up. Let's get to the stock. Currently, Matterport went SPAC at about $12. They're currently trading at $14, hit a high at $24, and really have just been trading sideways ever since. It looks like to me Matterport's got a decent base. I could see it coming down back to the $10 range, but it seems to me like Matterport tends to have a decent amount of support around this $10 to $14 range. If we jump into here, this is the big news that was recently announced that made me want to make this video. Multiple government agencies and intelligence agencies are now using Matterport's technology to scan various places. I think this is massive because it's huge validation for the technology. Any company can go and make a cool website and cool visuals, kind of like you see here, but if no one's using the technology, it doesn't really mean anything, and you saw a lot of that in electric vehicle companies like Nikola. Matterport has actual contracts with governments and other massive corporations, so I think this is tells a lot about how good the technology is. If they're good enough for the government, they're probably good enough for a lot of other people. I think this was important to point out and really brings a lot of validation to what Matterport's doing. Let's jump into the investor presentation, because I think they did an awesome job with this, as well as making it look pretty cool as well. Matterport currently is doing $118 in revenue, which puts it about a price to sales of 30, because their market cap is $3.5 billion. I think this is important to consider because a price to sales for 30 for Matterport really isn't that bad. A lot of software companies trade from 40 to 50s, And while this is still very expensive, it's really not horrible for the industry. Matterport's growing very quickly, and the faster they grow, the faster they'll grow into this valuation. And if it came down to the $15 to $20 price of sales region, that would really be a steal for a company like this. So I don't think 30 is too bad. I also want to point out that it's not just some niche company. They're in over 150 countries, which is massive because it shows wide scale adoption. They have over 404,000 subscribers, which is also very good for reoccurring revenue. This will help them achieve and maintain software margins that will give them the ability to trade at higher price of sales. And last of all, they have over 5.6 million spaces under management, which is massive because this is the data the company is looking to collect. The more spaces under management, the better for a company like Matterport, and I could argue is probably the most important thing for this business. I really like when companies have metrics like this, because when you have fast growing companies in tech, you really want to see their ideal working more over the financials themselves. If the idea is working, the idea is that it will be much bigger in the future. So I really like to see this 5.6 million spaces under management, and this to me is the most important number they're doing. Obviously I want to see revenue and subscribers growing, but I want to see the amount of data they collect increasing the most, because that's really what I'm most bullish on. I think the more of this they get, everything else just follows. Let's jump into the investor presentation quick, because I thought it's really good, and I actually think they provide some really interesting stats that makes us a lot less boring than your average company. I think they actually do a good job of breaking it down, why they're such a good company. Let's start. This isn't some brand new team that people have never heard before. Their CEO worked at Google, Apple, and eBay, so he's no scrub. They got another guy from Google right here. They got PayPal, LinkedIn, Salesforce, more Google and eBay, more eBay, Gap. I mean, this is a very good team of proven people, and it's not some nobodies no one's ever heard of. These are real people who are likely moved from these bigger companies to create a new massive company, and they probably see that ability in Matterport. So I think this is very important, because you really want to, these guys are at Matterport because they want to make money. So you want to follow the money. You don't want to be investing where a bunch of scrubs are working. You want to be investing with the big boys. We're going to skip around a little bit. So here you can see the total, this is where they go over how many, their addressable market, and over 20 billion spaces. You see right now they're at 5.6 million, and they're also the leader in the industry, so it's not like they're trailing everyone. This means they have massive room to grow and way more places to scan. So like I said in my Penn National Gaming video, I love when industries are growing alongside the companies themselves. This industry clearly has a ton of room to grow, and more spaces are being created every day to scan. Matterport is going to grow because they're a great company, but also because the amount of spaces and things to scan is constantly growing. This is something I love to see. We're going to zip through some of this because this is something I really like to see. 18x subscriber growth, which is, I mean, that's just insane. That's what you want to see. These subscribers are what's going to keep bringing them money, and this shows that not only are they collecting the data, but people want to keep using the platform, which is awesome. Also, the spaces under management, 100x the rest of the market. These guys are the leaders, and it's not even close, which is also what we love to see. Honestly, before I made this video, I was bullish on Matterport, but making this video made me really realize that this is a massive industry, but it's niche, and they are the clear leaders in this industry, which is what I love to see. I always like to be invested in the #1 player in an industry. Here are some of their partners, and you can see that they are not partnered with just anyone. They're working with Airbnb, another one of my favorite investments, Nationwide Insurance Company. Massive opportunity with insurance companies. real estate like Redfin, also massive, and also facilities, places like LinkedIn and H&M. I mean, these are great partners and probably a big reason why they're growing so fast. Here are them just comparing themselves to some other companies in the industry. I mean, all these companies are so different. I don't know if you really want to compare them too much, but I think it's important that they think they could have a $100 billion market cap. They're currently trading at $3 billion. So if you like 30x's, I guess this is a decent stock for you. And I mean, they could say anything they want here. They could say they could be a $1 trillion company, but I mean, they have a real management team, so they're not just going to throw out a number they think is completely absurd. For them, this is probably a realistic number that they could see within 10 to 15 years. I think this is important to point out. Yeah, I mean, it's great that they think they can get there. I think it's a lot better than them saying potential $10 billion market cap. You don't want to see that. You want to see them shooting for the stars. And maybe some of you think this is unrealistic. I think it's very realistic. I think it's going to take a long time to get there, but they have a good management team and a great technology. So we're going to skip through some of this. This is not as important. Some technology things. I think we identified that we validated their technology. Let's go into the financials because we really did talk a lot about the tech. They expect an exponential revenue growth and are looking at $646 million in 2025. That would currently put them at a price to sale of 5. So that's how you can see how companies can very quickly grow into the valuations they project. Obviously, it's going to take good execution, because if they don't execute this, then they're probably very overvalued right now. But this is also a software company, so you could make the argument that if they were to become, I'm not going to scroll up to it, but if they were to achieve a $100 billion market cap, they would likely, it would justify trading at a high price to sale. So I just think it's important to look that they do predict they will be able to execute on this revenue growth. I also want to scroll down here a little more because, yeah, they put some very good stats on how they're trading, which not a lot of companies do this, and I think it's really cool. They show that they're actually trading under the valuations of most high growth SaaS companies, and you can see that here that they're under the median average for all these companies. And it shows the companies that are currently in it, and honestly, like, I don't know if these are the averages they're using, but I mean, a company like Ultrix, they're not even that fast growing. So I mean, these numbers could be way higher if they selectively chose the ones that are just blowing. And MongoDB, like, these numbers could look a lot worse. So I think Matterport is positioned like it's not absurdly overvalued. I think that's what this is showing. I mean, this could be up here, and you'd be like, oh, I don't know, it's pretty it's not horrible. So I mean, when you have a very cool company like this is kind of where you want to, like, start building an investment carefully, but you can't always wait until this is trading at a 5. Like, that just might be unrealistic. It probably never gets there. You have to pay up to get into exciting companies, and you'll deal with volatility along the way, but the idea is that you're getting in early. So I mean, for me, it's worth it. We keep scrolling down through here. This is really the last thing I wanted to get to. Operating expenses, we already highlighted this revenue growth. I mean, they need to execute on this, but in my opinion, it seems great. I would love to see this. Operating expenses is something I want to touch on. They do expect those to increase pretty rapidly, but decrease in the percentage of increase, while their revenue is also going to decreasing. But I mean, it seems to me like they have a pretty good gap between what they expect to spend versus what they expect to make, and you can see that they want to be profitable around 2021. We'll see how all this plays out, or 2021, 2022. It looks good to me. A lot of stuff like this, I think, is really going to depend on the technology in the business. They could drastically outperform or underperform a lot of these models. These are really just an estimate. You really want to hope that they will beat a lot of these numbers, but I mean, a lot of this we're just going to have to wait and see. Overall, though, guys, I think Matterport's a very cool company doing something very unique and a leader in their industry. This isn't a company that I would want to make the biggest position in my portfolio, but one that I want to build and make it substantial because they are legit, they have legit technology, and they have great partners. I don't think this will ever be the biggest company in the world, but they can certainly be a leader in their sector, and in a sector that I think is in the correct path to have major growth in front of it. Overall, guys, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and let me know what you guys think if you're buying Matterport and what you expect in the future. But for now, Mikkel out.